So Lilo and Stitch was directed by Dean Fleischer Camp, and if you don't know the story of Lilo and Stitch by now, it's about these two sisters named Lilo and Nani. They lost their parents recently. Nani is a much older sister who now is forced to take care of her much younger sister, Lilo. And then one day, this alien crash lands on Earth, and it disguises itself as a dog. And they wind up adopting the alien, thinking it's a dog, and name it Stitch. And chaos ensues, but maybe they come together and realize that Ohana means family, which means nobody is forgotten or left behind. So this was a movie that, if I'm being honest, I was kind of looking forward to it, but I was also not really looking forward to it. Now, I am not a fan of Disney remakes really these days. I just don't get excited for them anymore. I was kind of excited for them at first, and then they slowly just got worse and worse, in my opinion. Like, I just lost all hope, no matter what, for Disney remakes. But this one was at least kind of interesting to me because it features Chris Sanders, who previously directed Lilo and Stitch. It also has him returning as the voice of Stitch. So I thought, okay, so you have the original creator involved with this movie. I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of interesting. Like, have that creative voice in this movie and such. And let's see where this movie goes. The trailers themselves looked okay, but it looked like it was going to be kind of cool because they were doing a lot of the marketing that they did for the original Lilo and Stitch, where it's like, okay, so Stitch is invading all these other Disney properties and such. That was actually kind of funny back then, and it's kind of funny now that they're doing it again for this movie. I thought that was really cool that they're doing it. So eventually I saw it. I gave it a few days after it kind of calmed down the box office a bit because so many people wanted to see it. Weird. 2 months ago, we were like, are Disney live action remakes dead after Snow White? And then this movie comes out and basically blows that out of the water. And it's like, no, we're still going to get a few. And if I'm being honest, please don't. I really am very disappointed in this movie. I did not care for it. And despite the fact that I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt to talk about this movie, I don't really have too many positive things to say. Let's start off with the things I do like in this movie. First off, there are some performances that I thought were solid. The actors who play Lilo and Nani I thought were decent. I definitely believe there's sisterly bond at times. Amy Hill, who I thought was decent as one of the new characters in this movie. Tia Carrere, who returns as a new character in this movie. She originally voiced Nani in the original Lilo and Stitch. I thought she was decent. There is one actor in this movie, I didn't get their name, but they played an alien in this movie, and kind of towards the beginning of the movie, it's like they kind of have like all these like really messed up things to say. It's like, okay, I kind of want to see this movie focus on this character a little bit more. I thought they were pretty funny, but the movie's not smart enough to do that, unfortunately. And also, Stitch himself looks incredible. Chris Sanders does a good job voicing him. Stitch actually looks really good. I can understand why they used him in a lot of the marketing because like Stitch actually looks amazing, and he actually does, for the most part, capture the character again. And I do think that, at least the Lilo and Stitch stuff is good enough for this movie. And admittedly, I think the movie has some very funny moments. There are kind of some moments, at least in the first two acts, where I'm like, okay, that's pretty funny. Again, that one character who's spouting like a really lot of illogical and kind of absurd things for a Disney movie. I'm like, I kind of want to know about this character, and also some very random moments where I'm thinking about it. There's one joke involving a Capri Sun, which it's kind of funny the more you think about it. I'm thinking about it's funnier to me not because of what just happened, but it's like I'm just thinking about like the implications of this. That could be really funny. But let's talk about the things I don't like because pretty much everything else about this movie just kind of made me mad. And it's very rare these days for a movie to make me as mad as this one. I don't think this movie's awful by any means, but there are choices that are made in this movie that I'm just like baffled by. And I'm like, how did you think this was actually good? Why did you think this was actually a good idea to do? And it's just shocking to me, like the choices they make. Like the character changes in this movie make absolutely no sense. They don't really do much with them. Like Cobra Bubbles, Courtney B. Vance is a good actor, but was there any reason why you couldn't get Ving Rhames to return in this role? And also, why with these changes? Because they don't really add to much in the entire movie. Also, the changes to Jumba's character, I just thought were insulting. Insultingly bad. And I'm just baffled by the choices that they made for these characters and such. I'm like, why would you do this? Also, the ugly duckling scene is a scene that kind of stood out to me in the original Lilo and Stitch. It's like that is the one of the more emotional moments of the entire movie, and they cut it completely from this movie, and I'm just shocked. What they do instead is actually far worse because it's so bland and so boring, and I just felt no emotion. Like you didn't have enough money in your budget to do just one scene with a book that's open and just have a motion capture something that was motion capture or something. I'm just baffled at times at the choices they kind of just make in this movie. Also, a lot of the stuff they do with Nani in this movie I thought was really awful. Like, okay, so they kind of add a few things for characters, like, okay, interesting and such, but when you get to the end of the movie, it is baffling what they do. And you probably already know what it is by now, but I won't say it here. But I am just stunned that this movie decides to make these changes that kind of just go against the original movie. Like you can make small changes here and there, like take out, rework Bubbles and Jumba in a way, but it just changes the whole point of the movie when you change these characters to the point where you don't even recognize them anymore, or when you take out emotional moments that leave an impact, and you're just left with a hollow shell of a movie that is once again trying to do a lot of same stuff like the original movie did. A lot of the newer, and when I say newer, I mean like any recent Disney movie that gets a live action remake. Like, you know, a lot of the Renaissance stuff got remakes and such, but they were accused of doing a lot of the same stuff as the new movie did. And as the original movie, I mean. But this movie does the same thing, where it copies a lot of stuff from the original movie, and a lot of it just does not work. Also, let's talk about Jumba and Bleakley. I already mentioned what they do with Jumba, and it's actually kind of downright insulting. Jumba and Bleakley together are just boring. I did not find them funny. I did not find them interesting. Their visuals, they look awful. I think what happened was that they spent all their money on Stitch, and they didn't really do anything with Jumba, Bleakley, or any of the other aliens. They look awful. Their jokes fall flat. Oh man, okay, I don't mind if you cast okay, you couldn't get someone with the voice of David Ogden Stiers to do the voice of Jumba. But you thought Zach Galifianakis could voice him? No, he does not. He is so horribly miscast in this movie. And again, I was just stunned by the choices they made with Jumba's character. I'm like, what are you doing? And also, while watching this movie, I kind of thought to myself, like, okay, in the original, Lilo admittedly was a bit of a brat, but then again, she was like 6 or something. So it makes sense. Stitch was an alien who was very rogue, so a lot of stuff he did in the beginning was just really crazy and zany and such, and eventually grew and such. But I feel like with this movie, too, they kind of missed the point of them, because, like, Lilo is not that bratty in this movie. She's not a good kid by any means, but the stuff she does is more of an inconvenience rather than just being bratty. Like at one point, she does push one of her rivals. Like it's kind of from the original movie again, but it's never talked about again. It's kind of random. And also, the most annoying thing she really does is that she sneaks into a country club and just hangs out for a bit. That's it. Also, Stitch is more zany rather than like evil and rogue and such at the beginning. Like at one point in the movie, he crash lands in Hawaii, but there's a wedding, so he winds up crashing the wedding at some point and kind of just bouncing around and such. Winds up in the punch bowl. By the way, Uptown Funk is playing during the scene, and it's just more played for laughs more than anything. And I was just like, this is just dragging the movie, unfortunately. And I'm just like, is it me or are they just like not really understanding the characters? Like you can make Lilo more bratish, but you can also make Stitch crazier. But like I feel like this movie didn't really get that. And it's very annoying to me that's like they almost have it, but at the same time they don't have it and they're not even close. And you can say that about the Disney remakes. There was even a line in the movie, I don't remember exactly who said it. I think it might have been said by Jumba, and I remember saying afterwards, weird, I feel that way about these Disney remakes and such. Like, I think it was like, you know, it's cool at first, but now it's getting annoying. I'm like, oh, kind of like these Disney remakes. They're just getting annoying now. And I'm just getting so sick of them. I'm just getting so sick of Disney taking their beloved properties and just making these new movies and just completely missing the point. I am just getting so sick of it. At first, I was interested, and then over the last like few years and such, I'm like, I get it now. I get the problems, and I'm just getting so tired of it because like I don't even get excited for them anymore, even for the ones I like. But then again, usually the ones I like usually get the remakes and such. So I'm just getting so tired of it, and I just wish they would stop. But since this movie was number one at the box office, and it's looking like it's going to be number one again this weekend, I don't see that happening anytime soon. As far as this movie goes, also like Moana 2, this was supposed to go on Disney Plus, and at times it kind of shows. Like the quality is subpar, some of the visuals are not very rendered properly, and a lot of everything just kind of feels off for some reason. I just did not really enjoy this movie. There were times where it's like, okay, it is enjoyable. There are some funny moments here and there, and the main Lilo and Nani I thought were decent. A couple other actors are okay. Stitch looks great and such, but almost everything else kind of drops the ball. Every time that Lilo, Stitch, or Nani are not on screen, it kind of falls flat. The choices they make in this movie are downright insulting, maybe even offensive. And I'm like, this movie is almost as bad as Pinocchio in terms of like what you did with the property and like what you changed and such, and kind of how you just completely missed the point of the original. And it's just stunning to me how I'm just watching this movie and it's just like you're missing the mark completely. And how do you do that? I was hoping that with someone like Chris Sanders involved, who was heavily involved with the original Lilo and Stitch, would at least have some voice in how to make this movie work. And I thought this was going to be one of the ones that was going to work because of his involvement. But alas, nothing else in this movie really works. You could watch this movie on Disney Plus and say, it's fine, it has some funny moments here and there. But I would say if you're a Lilo and Stitch fan, I would even go as far as to say maybe you don't see this movie because it's actually going to ruin a lot of the things that you enjoyed from that movie. And it's going to be a weird one to rate. I would say if you've never seen Lilo and Stitch before, it's fine and you can have a good time with it. I would give it 2 out of 4 stars, stream it. But if you are a Lilo and Stitch fan, I would give this 1 out of 4 stars, skip it. So I would say this is like a 1.5 out of 4 stars, stream it. You could watch this movie and kind of have some fun with it, but you just know, kind of like with a lot of these other live action remakes, that there is a better version that managed to do things a lot better. Not just story, but characters, humor, music, pretty much everything about those movies worked. And it's just shocking to me that they still don't care, that they still make these movies that just don't understand like what we like about these movies. And it's just frustrating at this point. So, what are your thoughts on the new Lilo and Stitch movie? This is kind of a long video, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because there's a lot to talk about, and I try to avoid spoilers as much as I can because everyone else is talking about spoilers at this point. So, what's a Disney movie that you want to see remade, whether you like it or hate it? I'm curious because I'm just getting so tired of these. I'm just so done with it. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.